Esther's life had always been measured in buckets of well water and the stubborn generator that coughed itself awake each evening. Her village in Delta State wasn't much. Just red earth roads, palm trees, and the occasional goat that behaved like it owned the place. Esther helped her mother fry a kara every morning before school. The smoke always clung to her hair, and customers always owed them money. Still, she carried her dreams like treasure. When the email came, congratulations, you have been selected for an overseas domestic work placement program. Esther read it 5 times, convinced someone was pranking her, but the message didn't change. Her mother screamed, knelt on the floor, and thanked God loudly enough to wake ancestors. On the day of her departure, her mother pulled her aside. Her eyes were red from crying. Don't forget who you are, she told her. Abroad is not heaven. People can suffer there too. Just be strong. Esther swallowed her own emotions. I will make you proud. The airport felt like another planet. Everything smelled like money and air conditioning. Esther stared at the airplane, wondering how something that massive could carry humans without giving up halfway. She nearly clapped when it took off and actually clapped when they landed. A passenger beside her frowned. People don't clap when the plane lands. Esther just shrugged. I clap for anything that brings me to the ground safely. The moment she stepped out of the U.S. airport, the cold slapped her across the face like unpaid debt. Her clothes did nothing to shield her. The weather bullied her. She hissed under her breath, regretting every life decision that brought her here without a thicker jacket. A chauffeur held a sign with her name and drove her through neighborhoods that looked like movie sets. But nothing prepared her for the Whitmore mansion. The driveway alone felt like the road from Lagos to Ibadan. The house looked like someone built a museum and then decided to live inside it. Glass walls, symmetrical pillars, lights embedded in trees. Mrs. Whitmore was waiting at the entrance. Tall, impeccably dressed, a face that could freeze boiling water. She inherited her late husband's wealth and then built it into an empire. If elegance had a sword, she was holding it. You are Esther? She asked. The question wasn't curiosity. It was assessment. Yes, ma'am, Esther replied automatically. Mrs. Whitmore didn't acknowledge the respect. She simply turned and walked inside. I don't do lateness, incompetence, or excuses. Inside the mansion, the first thing Esther heard was a mechanical voice. Door is open. It came from the refrigerator. Esther flinched and took a step back. The fridge talks? Everything in this house talks. Mrs. Whitmore replied without turning. That doesn't mean you have permission to respond. They met the sons in what looked like a living room but could easily pass for a furniture showroom. The first was Ethan. Tall, well-groomed, expression carved from ice. The type of man whose heartbeat was probably scheduled in his calendar. He raised his eyes briefly, dismissed her existence, and returned to the tablet in his hand. The second Liam was the opposite. Soft curls, warm eyes, casual hoodie. He looked like he woke up every morning to flirt with trouble. When he saw Esther, he smiled like he'd been waiting for something interesting to happen. You must be Esther. Welcome to the zoo, he said. Ethan didn't look up. This is a home, not a zoo. Liam shrugged lazily. We have a fridge that talks. It's a zoo. Esther tried not to laugh. She greeted politely. Good afternoon, sir. Liam shook his head. No, sir. You'll make me feel old. I'm Liam. Esther turned to Ethan. And you are busy, he said, already walking away. Mrs. Whitmore didn't bother to correct him. She simply pointed upstairs. Your room is on the 3rd floor. You start work at 6. As Esther climbed the stairs, her suitcase thumping behind her, she heard Liam's whisper echo faintly. She's cute. Ethan didn't respond right away. But when he finally spoke, his voice was low and controlled. She's here to work, not to be a distraction. Esther couldn't hear any of it. She opened the door to her new room, dropped her suitcase, and finally allowed herself to exhale. She whispered a prayer, not because everything felt easy, but because something deep inside her whispered she had crossed into a new chapter. She didn't know that downstairs, 2 brothers had already noticed her arrival. She didn't know that this mansion, this glittering palace, would not only test her strength, but reshape her destiny. She had no idea she had just walked into a story where wealth, secrets, and desire were waiting for her at every corner. The Whitmore mansion was beautiful. Beautiful things are rarely harmless.